All right, y'all. So let me give you all a little bit of a background and where this idea is coming from. So I was at the store. I found this seasoning from Spiceology. It's called Greek Freak. And I thought to myself, what if you can make a smoked gyro? And so started thinking about it. It's going to be actually just kind of an experiment. I haven't done this before, so we're going to see how it turns out. Um, and so for you Greeks out there watching, I know that this is nowhere near traditional. So please don't blow me up in the comments for it. But we're going to give it a shot, see how it turns out, and then go from there. A couple of different things that I've got here is obviously this Greek Freak Mediterranean blend. It's got a lot of different Mediterranean style type spices. Not much salt in there. So I do have some salt for myself here as well. I'm going to add some black pepper. I've already got some chopped up onions here that we're going to throw in there. A little bit of minced garlic. What we're going with here also is a blend of a pound of ground lamb as well as ground beef. So we're going to mix those together. And we've got a food processor. You do need a food processor for something like this, because what it's going to do is it's really going to blend up everything together and make more so of like a paste, because you want that consistency for when you are putting together a gyro. It's going to give it that sort of, uniform, no crumbles in there. So we're gonna put that through the food processor all together with these ingredients, and then we're gonna skewer it up. I've kind of got a base already set up for this. We're gonna skewer it up and then let it go on the smoker. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so obviously, as you can see here, this is the ground lamb that we've got, and then this right underneath there is the ground beef. So we're gonna go ahead and toss some seasonings in here. And like I said, this Greek blend here isn't very salty, so I'm going to go pretty heavy with it to get a good flavor and taste. To me, that looks about right. And then I'm going to add some more pepper as well, because I don't think that this blend has very much pepper either. And then, of course, some more salt. And again, like I've told you guys in my previous videos, if you're scared of over salting something like a ground mixture like this, once you mix it all up, put it on the pan, cook it up, and taste it. Easy way to tell if you've oversalted something, because remember, you can oversalt easily, but you can't take salt out of food. So you can always salt afterwards, but you can't take the salt out. So just be careful when you're doing that. I'm going to come in here also with some garlic. It's about a teaspoon's worth there. And then come in with some chopped up onions already. And then once we throw this through the food processor, should all become one uniform mixture of meat. So before I do toss it into the food processor, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this all kind of mixed together. That way the food processor doesn't have to do as much of the work. And I think it'll create much more even layer here. Plus, if you mix it up like this beforehand, you can kind of get an idea of if you need to put some more spice in there, because obviously I don't go really by measurements. I go by the look and then the taste. So like I said, if you're not comfortable with it, then first just cook some up on a pan and see what it tastes like. All right, so after just mixing it by hand here, you can see where there's seasoning kind of all in there. I think we're going to go in with a little bit more along with some more pepper, and then give it one last mix before we toss it in the food processor. So I'm going to just change out my gloves here because they're covered in meat, and then get some more seasoning in there. All right, so I already got half of the mixture in here. I'm not going to do the whole batch because I don't want to overwhelm the food processor, so we'll do 2 cycles of it. Let's go ahead and turn it on and get this all mixed up. So periodically you might have to stop and just kind of rework it in there so that I can get the mixture really well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then once you've just kind of reworked that mixture in there, just go ahead and turn it back on and let it do its thing. All right, and so kind of just to show you the difference there, this is what it looks like after it's been through that food processor, as opposed to just this, which you've done with your hand. So this is the consistency that you want. I'm going to go ahead and get this scooped out and then put the second batch in there. All right, once you've got it all food processed up, you're going to have this disgusting looking paste, to be quite honest with you, but that is going to cook up to be something super delicious. So what we're going to do next, well, really there's 2 things you can do now. You do want this to kind of sit for a longer period of time. You want to give it probably about good at least 4 hours where it can sit, let these flavors all kind of mesh together. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to get this wrapped in some plastic wrap, and it's going to sit in the fridge for at least 4 hours. And then once it's kind of had that time to settle, get all married together with all those flavors, then we're going to go ahead and get it skewered up. The other thing that you can do is you can put it right directly into aluminum foil, and if you don't have a smoker, you can just put this into the oven. And in the oven, you're going to set it for about 350 degrees, and it's going to go for about an hour or two just to get cooked up, and then you can slice it, you put it on the pan to get it crisped up, and then you're good to go. In my case, I'm going to put this first in some plastic food wrap, let it sit, and then we're going to get it skewered up onto this that I've got made up here, again with skewers on an onion so that it's got something to stand on. And then we're going to somehow get this made into a log and stuck right on here. So we'll see how it goes, and call audibles if need be. But so I'm going to go ahead and get some food wrap now laid out and then get this wrapped up. All right, so now that I've got the plastic wrapped up, just drop this on here. And we're going to kind of form a log out of this. Just a uniform log. And then what I'm going to do here too is get this out to just measure it. And so that looks like it should fit just fine. And again, once you put this back in the fridge, it's going to firm up a little bit. So, because you're going to feel right now it's pretty soft, but once you get it back in the fridge, it'll firm back up and it should hold its shape. At least that's my theory on it. We'll see how it ends up turning out, but I think it'll be just fine. So, like I said, I'm going to just change out my gloves now, then get this wrapped up and put in the fridge. All right, so I'm going to get another strip here actually to go ahead and cover the top, just like so. Get those two pieces together. Make sure you got a nice tight fit there. And roll it. And get these ends and sort of twist so you get a tight pack. And there it is. So, like I said, I'm going to let this go ahead and now sit. And then I'll come back once we got the smoker up and we're ready to attempt to skewer this thing. All right, y'all. So I might have jinxed myself with calling this audible. So there was a whole lot of crazy stuff going on here to try to figure this out, because this meat did not firm up anywhere near as much as I had expected. So I'm going to just kind of show you guys what I did to get to this point. And it took a lot of skewer sticks. So initially I had thought that this is probably just going to be able to sit here with 3 skewers, kind of like this, you know, more or less, and it'll hold its form. That's not going to be the case. So you want to kind of straighten these middle ones out a little bit, something like this. And honestly, we're probably going to have to revisit this to get a better way of doing this. But what I did is put 3 skewers in the middle like this, and then just kind of went around the onion, poking these through just to kind of give it something to lean on. And what I did is at the bottom, took some butcher's twine and just wrapped it, tied it around while the meat was already on, as well as on the top. So first what we did is just kind of go all the way around with these skewer sticks, as you can see here on this onion. And then we put the meat right through the middle, then tied the bottom with butcher's twine, and then tied the top, because these will have a little bit of flex, hold in. And so I'm hoping that's going to hold its shape. What's actually going to happen, we're going to see here. So I'm going to show you guys the result. I'm not going to be happy with this, but I'm going to show you guys the result anyway. But at the end of the day, as long as it doesn't fall apart, as long as it cooks, it's going to be just fine. So we'll see how it turns out. This might be a giant fail. We'll have to revisit it, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Once I get this on the smoker, I'm going to go ahead and just probe it with a meat probe just to keep an eye on the temperature, and then I'll go from there. One other thing that I also had to do is I had to trim all these skewers down so it wouldn't fit in the smoker with these full length ones. So I cut it down about 1.5 inches, and now it should fit. So let's go ahead and get outside and see what we can do with it. All right, also, we are outside now with the pellet smoker. I've got it running at the 190 at a smoke level 7 on the Camp Chef here. I've also got a smoke tube going inside. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to put it on there. Probably going to monitor it every about 30 minutes to an hour just to make sure that it's not all falling apart. Like I said, we'll see how it goes. Just put it on here and keep an eye on it. So let's pop this open. Be careful that this doesn't fall over on you. Kind of go towards the back here because this curves down, so I don't want these skewer sticks to catch on the door. So like I said, as you can see, the smoke tube there is going. We've got the makeshift gyro sitting there ready to get smoked, and go ahead and probe this thing up, get a good internal temp there. So let's close this up and see what we can make. All right, also we are at about the 45-minute mark, so we're going to take a quick look here, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. This is holding together nicely, and I don't think it's going to fall apart anymore at this point. It's starting to get some nice color. Temperature sitting at about 79 degrees, so we still got quite a bit of ways to go, but that is looking exactly what we would want to see. So I think this contraption of ours worked. Pleasantly surprised with that, so I will take it. So we'll check back in. All right, well, while we've got the gyro smoking outside, let's go ahead and make a quick tzatziki sauce. Super easy and simple to make. What we've got here is just some Greek yogurt, got a cup's worth, and we're gonna get right in this bowl. Then we got some lemons. Squeeze in about half a lemon in there. And then we got a little bit of, I've got avocado oil. You could use olive oil for this. Either one will work. We got some dill. And then what we're going to do is just grate a cucumber on one of these finer meshes here. Just grate it right in. And lastly, just a little bit of salt, just a little pinch. Mix that all up into a nice little dipping sauce. And then once you've got it all mixed up, of course, you got to give it a quick taste. And that's exactly what we're looking for. So we're going to let that sit in the fridge, let the flavors get all incorporated. And once it sits around for a little bit, it's going to taste even better, and it's going to go great with this gyro. So see you back soon. All right, also, quick update. We are at, again, first of all, looking amazing. That looks beautiful. We are at 136 internal temp. We are going to go ahead and wrap this up in aluminum foil and bump the temperature up to bring this baby home. So just a quick update with that. I'm going to wrap this up in aluminum foil. I'll show you how that looks in a second. And so, like I said, just a little bit of a coverage of aluminum foil, help keep that heat in and bring this temperature up a little bit quicker because we are running out of time. So we got to just speed it up a bit, and this should do the trick. So be back. Okay, so honestly, I'm pretty shocked with how well this did turn out. I mean, it was a lot of work to get this to stand up like this and actually hold up. I'm not sure if it would have held up without all this extra work here, all these extra skewers, but I mean, from the looks of it, it turned out pretty well. So I'm pretty happy with it. Now, we're still not out of the woods yet with this. So we got to start pulling these out, which I'm going to start doing, and hopefully not tear it up. But I mean, there we go. So that came out nice and easy. So we're going to take all these out now. All right, so they all came out really nice and clean. So that's a pretty good sign, of course. That means that the meat's cooked pretty well, that's for sure. So all that's left now is to go ahead and get a slice of this and see what the inside's looking like. I'm going to try to go real thin. So make sure you got a nice sharp knife, just like it's your local gyro joint. And that looks about right. So definitely cut in. It looks real pink because that's the smoke ring for sure. So, but I mean, this is exactly the consistency that I was going for. So that's good. And I think it's going to taste great. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot now. Dip it in some of this tzatziki. I mean, honestly, I really surprised myself with this. This went out on a whim with this. I had no idea what it was going to turn out like. And that's honestly delicious. So at the end of the day, this setup was not the easiest to do. So I'm going to try this again at some point where we're going to try a different method of how to get this to stay up and cook so that we don't have to go through all the different things with the skewers, because that's a little bit complicated. It makes the process a lot harder than it needs to be. So we'll figure out a solution. We'll get back with you with another video, but what I'm going to do now is take some extra slices off of this and make myself a pita sandwich with it, and then I'll show you how that looks. All right, so obviously this is going to be pretty self-explanatory. Got a nice warm pita here. Start off with a little bit of the tzatziki that we made earlier. Nice coating in there. Then we got some of this nice sliced gyro. Let's fill it up. I want to be extra generous with it, but we got to leave some room for some lettuce, some tomato, and top it with a nice piece of gyro meat there as well. And this is going to be delicious. Try this. This is fantastic. Even if you make it in the oven, try this. 350, probe it, about 165 to 170. You'll be golden. This is delicious. You could just make it a log. You don't have to worry about these. Make it a log, put in some aluminum foil, let it cook. Take off that aluminum foil towards the end so that you get a little bit of a browning. And then after that, you slice this. You can put it right on the frying pan, fry it up, and it'll be delicious. So, guys, that's a video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.